This is our conversation of the day in international relations. And maybe for the world, this is just flat out the most important conversation. It's something that Pope Leo has been talking about. It's something that all of America's been talking about. Angela Stent was my book of the year. I made my book of the year a couple of years ago on a February, I think, Thursday. Her book is Putin's World. It is the single one biography on the makeup of Vladimir Putin. We're honored that Angela Stent could join us this morning. Angela, chapter 3 of your book, Ambivalent Europeans. Is Vladimir Putin an ambivalent European?
I think Vladimir Putin is by now a convinced Eurasianist, even though he speaks German and he lived in East Germany for 5 years. I think if you listen to what the Russian talk shows are saying and what even Putin himself is saying, they're highly critical of the Europeans because they're now in a situation where the Trump administration has been able to accomplish what neither the Soviet Union or post-Soviet Russia was able to do, and that's to split Europe from the U.S.
Is President Trump helping, or is he in the way of a constructive outcome?
So I don't think he's helping at the moment because, you know, having gotten the Ukrainians and the Europeans to say, yes, we have to have a 30-day interim ceasefire before we can really negotiate, Putin has refused to do this. Apparently, in the phone call yesterday, they didn't even discuss a ceasefire in 2.5 hours. So that's really not helping get us anywhere nearer to stopping the killing and talking constructively about what comes afterwards.
In reality, Angela, I think just by looking at history over the last 100 years, Russia's not going anywhere. They can keep at this for as long as anybody can. Is there any leverage anybody has over Russia?
So, you know, there is a big package of sanctions that's being prepared bipartisan by the U.S. Congress, Republicans and Democrats. The Treasury Department has a sanctions packet ready to go. Scott Bessent put it on President Trump's desk, but nothing's happening. They're not imposing any sanctions. And that's what Putin really wanted to avoid. And the other thing that could be done would be to give Ukraine more arms to help it push back more, because nobody thinks there's going to be another supplemental coming forward. So the only other leverage there is, of course, oil prices. And $60 or above oil prices is what keeps the Russian economy going and the budget doing well. If oil prices remain low, certainly in the 40s or even the early 50s, by next year, that will have a fairly serious impact in Russia.
Aside from President Trump, is there anyone in Congress who feels like something needs to be done, or is this squarely on the president's desk at the moment?
I mean, Senator Graham has been one of the supporters of the sanctions bill. There are a number of both Republican and Democratic Congress people who think that we should be imposing more sanctions. But every time there's talk of it, it doesn't happen.
I mean, Angela, I'm out of time, but I've got, there's so many important questions. Let me go to the Kremlin. How alone is Vladimir Putin? He's calling every shot? I guess we assume that from your wonderful book, but is there an after Putin? Is there a process in Russia with Putin or after Putin?
So we have no idea about that, but it doesn't look as if there is, because every time you have an up-and-coming younger person who maybe be a successor, they're not. So what Putin has the backing of Xi Jinping. That's probably the single most important thing.
Very quickly here, Professor Stent, just as simple as I can, do you believe in the domino theory here?
The domino theory that
after Ukraine, he looks at one of the Baltic states. After Ukraine, he looks at 14 feet into Finland. I mean, is there a domino theory here?
I do believe in it. I don't think it would happen immediately. But if Putin wins in Ukraine, then Ukraine isn't the last country that Russia's going to attack.
Angela Stent, thank you so much. I'll tell you, folks, it's a 2-book tandem on Russia. Stephanie Baker's wonderful book. It's been hugely successful for Ms. Baker of Bloomberg in London, Punishing Putin. And the foundation before that is Angela Stent's Putin's World, Russia, against the West. I can't say enough about that book as a one-volume read, mesmerizing on the youth and the upbringing of Vladimir Putin.